Parents, am I right? Can be a real pain in the tuchus when you're getting raised by them. You see, everybody on Earth was raised by somebody or something. Theoretically, there's probably like at least one exception of like a guy who just kind of hashed it out on his own away from society. But a part of like living under the same roof as anybody, like whether it's a roommate, a parent, a significant other, there's gonna be like some level of conflict in that. Hell, there's gonna be some level of conflict in any social space you're in. But usually the things you argue with other people over are conflicts you can eventually move past, even really bad ones. And some of the ones we're gonna see here today are those. But I'm gonna tell you now, r/entitled parents is not a place I go to like commiserate with the guys I'm seeing here. A lot of times the type of shit you hear from this subreddit are just things you couldn't even fathom the rationale behind. Let's take this one for instance. My mom called my landlord to complain about the way I decorated my own apartment, and I only found out because my landlord called me confused. You know how weird that has to be, where like your landlord is the guy who has your back over your own family? We'll jump into this in a minute, but if you guys enjoy this video, this card at the end will take you to another one like it. And be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss an upload. I moved into my first solo place 8 months ago, and it took me forever to make it feel like mine. Hey, I get that, man. I've been in this spot for years, and the only thing that makes it seem like I'm the one who made it is because of how much of a mess it is. I painted one wall in my bedroom a deep olive green. Hey, nice shout, man. I see you. Look at this shit. I hung shelves, put up photos, got curtains I actually liked. Nothing was done without checking my lease first. Smart guy, smart guy. There's nothing like making a really personal decoration in your home, like punching a hole in your wall, and then suddenly your landlord's all like, hey man, don't punch holes in walls. No damage, no violations, just a space that finally felt like it belonged to me. Which, it's a really good feeling, like the first time you get your own place and you can really make it your own. You can get all the stupid toys you wanted to have around your room that your parents told you, no, that costs money and it looks dumb. Well, guess what, Mom? I can put 2 Ross-A plushies on a piano on top of an Xbox chair if I want to. My mom had visited once back in the spring and spent most of the tour telling me the green wall was depressing. I'm pretty sure scientifically green, the color, is supposed to like make you feel better because it reminds you of nature. It's like the whole reason they plant like trees all over a city and make sure there are like public parks you can go to in them. She told me my shelves were crooked and that the curtains made the room look smaller. I listened, said I liked it, and moved on. I thought she had too. That doesn't seem like a crazy experience on the surface either. Like, your parents aren't always gonna like the place that you've made for yourself, but the whole point is that you made it for yourself. How often are they really gonna come by to be pissed at it if they don't live nearby you too often? Last Tuesday, my landlord called me and opened with, so I got a bit of an unusual call. Like, probably the worst person to hear that sentence from outside of like maybe an employer. My mom had phoned him directly. British person spotted. Used the word phoned. I could be projecting on that one. I've just never heard that ever outside of the context of a person from the UK. My mom introduced herself as my mother and told him she was concerned about modifications I had made to the apartment and wanted to know if he had approved them and whether they were plans to address them before my lease renewal. Just the amount of steps that would take to even follow up on that. Like, not only do you have to find the name of the complex that the guy's living at himself, you need to find the number of the landlord specifically. I feel like it's very rare that even neighbors, unless it's affecting the quality of their life in their apartment, would snitch on each other over this. My landlord said he had told her he had no concerns about my tenancy and that the apartment was in good condition, and she apparently pushed back and asked him to take another look. Hey, yeah, could you do another audit of my son's apartment? I just really need to be validated in the opinion that it looks like shit. That is like something you do with other wine moms on Facebook. You don't try to get the landlord involved on that. If you're like one of those moms who like talks shit about their kids all the time, I really can't stop you. It's like literally in the Constitution that it's your right to do so. But it's like being a comedian. You have to find your audience. You probably shouldn't ask the guy who literally signed off on everything you said you dislike. She felt things had been done that could affect the property value. He called me purely because he found the whole thing strange and wanted me to know. I was so embarrassed I didn't know what to say to him. When I called my mom, she said she was just looking out for me. See, the way to do that would have been to talk to the kid directly, where it's like, you know, he said it was okay in the moment, but like, if he down the line thinks that the property value's been affected, he might get on your ass, so that might be something you want to cover ahead of time before you move out and they do an inspection. You don't try to preempt the inspection, man! She said that if I had a problem with it, maybe I should think about whether my decorating choices were actually as fine as I thought they were. If I had this mother and she walked into my house, she'd probably like kill me on spot if she saw my office. Look at this fucking place. It's very clear, like, how much of a fucking loser I am, man. She'd, like, point at the Ralsei plush and go, like, is that, satanic imagery? Take it right back to the early 2000s with that Pokemon Satanic Panic. That guy's not even a Pokemon. I don't know why I said that. She genuinely didn't seem to care why I was upset and kept reframing it as concern for my future and rental history. I told her clearly she is not to contact anyone in my life about my living situation again. Like, this was so bad on this dude. He's like, I don't care if I'm homeless. I don't care if I'm barely making ends meet or if I need help with money for rent. The last person I'm going to for that shit is you, mom. Not my landlord, not my employer, not anyone. She said I was being dramatic and hung up. Damn, you really let her get the last word in like that? I hate to say it about this woman in particular, but you kind of let her bitch you. I'm still angry and I honestly don't know what the next steps look like with her. Man, that is like just so odd and like, I don't want to say creepy because I don't know what the rest of this guy's relationship with his mom is like. Maybe this is like a one-off neurotic thing. But like if something like that happened, that would really put me off. Like as a parent, you're not gonna like, nor should you probably like everything your kid does with their life. Even if it's like personal decisions, you can just like aesthetically disagree. It's like, you don't gotta live there, man. Hell, you don't even have to stay at the place if you're visiting from out of town. You can get a hotel. But like trying to get the landlord to inspect it to like potentially fucking charge your kid money for something they had apparently already gotten permission for, like that's just way too much. Let's hope this one is like a bit of a breather because that last one was like kind of heavy in implication. My estranged mother thinks she's entitled to my homemade jelly. I mean, the first adjective being estranged makes me think she's not entitled to anything from you. My aunt sent me the following text from my estranged mother. Let your niece know the honeysuckle is in full bloom. We will not be home tomorrow. If she wants to come get some, we will not be home tomorrow if she wants to come get some then. But I want a couple of jars of her strawberry jam in exchange. And I think, stepfather's name, will want some honeysuckle when she makes it. Wow, the entitlement. I'd rather collect flowers sprayed with poison and make jelly out of that. It would still be less toxic than her. Ooh, I see you. Why is she speaking like a goddamn witch from the Middle Ages? Like you hear a lot about people becoming estranged from their parents or explicitly going no contact, but usually like when you talk to the parent, like who it happened to, they're talking about like, what went wrong? Why don't they talk to me anymore? I'm their parent for God's sake. But this estranged mom was calling their own daughter their sister's niece. It's like we have a secret third sibling who this is the child of, but I am going to send this vaguely threatening text to? It almost feels like it could just be haggling while using a middleman. Maybe not threatening, but like certainly off-putting. Better pudding than the Jello, I suppose. Get it? I had my turn at you're too old for that, give it to my kid today. This is like one thing that pisses me off. Like whenever I see a story of parents seeing like an adult with a hobby buying something for themselves, perhaps the hobby is like maybe centered around kids or is generally kid friendly. So I was doing some grocery shopping at my local Aldi today and I was wearing my hat that has Pokemon patches on it. Guy literally had a mark of like his authenticity on it. If you see a guy in the toy aisle with like actual Pokemon memorabilia on their person and they're like getting Pokemon cards, you can safely assume they're legit and not just like a scalper or some shit. Okay, it's just a black cap with 3 patches. A Psyduck, a Magikarp, and a Gyarados. Oh, water type, huh? You must have loved Hoenn. I loved Hoenn. Hope you're enjoying those new Pokemon starters too. I got to the checkout and there was this woman there with her 2 kids. Oh, so they were literally like at the point of purchase when they were doing this shit. They were almost at the store about to get on with their day. I thought this was like an ambush in the aisle, like where you pick it off the shelf or some shit. The kids were misbehaving and she was yelling at them. That's when the boy saw my hat and said, Mom, I like her hat. They wanted the fucking hat? You're kidding me. It wasn't even something off the shelf, dude. I thought I knew exactly where this situation was going. This is gonna be like the most annoying experience this guy has had for years, probably. Next thing I know, the woman is telling me to give my hat to her kid because I'm too old for it. She even tried to reach over and yank it off my head. That's assault. You can fucking beat her ass now. Not legal advice. Don't listen to me for that sort of thing. I told her to go away and that I didn't have to give my hat to her or her kid and stuffed it under the jumper I was wearing. Checked out and left. Anywho, it's not much, but there's my encounter with an entitled parent. That's like pretty low stakes, all things considered. Also that you managed to get in and out pretty swiftly. But like, holy shit, that is like one of the more annoying tales I've heard of like anything in this vein, man. I'd like to think that I'm above starting a screaming match over some shit like that, but like the audacity? I'm hoping like this kind of guy runs into unpleasant parent, not necessarily theirs, but they get away without like being worse for wear as the majority of stories we see while I'm recording this. Because at least that like won't leave the psychological scars with you. Okay, this one is fucking crazy. A small child punched me in the stomach because I wouldn't let him pet my dog who was clearly in distress. His parents got mad at me. My very old dog was outside in our yard foaming at the mouth, gasping for air, and it was coming out the other end. This was right after he had incontinence in the house. I was crashing out because the vet said he could die any day, so I'm thinking this is the end. again. Oh man, that is like a terrible headspace to be annoyed by anything in, like even if it's just dying a bunch in a game. I might like blow a gasket just internally, like, come on man, I needed an escape, not to get my shit rammed. I'm in the yard figuring out what to do, and I see in my peripheral vision some kid running up to us on my yard. This is not one of the neighborhood kids. He's from a party up the street. So not even like a resident of your local community, and he's still like trespassing, man. His mom, hope it's okay if they play. My son is due for a doggy play date. I'm sorry, no the fuck you're not. For one, you need to be aware of the fact that dogs absolutely can maul children to death. You as a parent shouldn't be trusting like every dog you see. If it's like going on a walk, it's like a good chance it's fine. But like the kid was running up onto the yard, and this guy has no obligation to like give you access to his pet who you know nothing about and like what they've got going on. Whether that's health issues, behavioral issues, nothing like that. I physically put myself in between the child and my dog. The child fucking punched me in the stomach. It took everything in me not to physically retaliate to a child. Sorry, call me a bad person, I don't care. Bro, you already got punched by her on your property. As far as I'm concerned, this is a stand your ground state. Kidding. Violence against children is wrong. I respectfully restrained her child by the arm and marched him to his mom. She freaked out that I had put my hands on her son. I ignored her because my dog was my only priority. Then the fucking dad struts over and starts screaming in my face to never lay his hand on his kid again. His son just wanted to pet your dog. That kid just fucking threw a goddamn hook in the stomach, bro. They could have killed them from a liver shot. What if they were secretly the next fucking Ngannou and you had killed the guy because you just let him get out of your sight? You don't know what that kid is capable of. Not that they should have like fought back like with fists or anything, but like I was so overstimulated because the kid was screaming bloody murder, having a tantrum that he can't pet my dog. There's definitely a Family Guy cutaway gag about this exact scenario. Meanwhile, my dog has a tonic-clonic seizure, full shaking unconscious. They suddenly got real quiet and finally back off. I hear the mom tell her son, the doggy isn't feeling well. We have to go let him rest. Those parents are so fucking lucky I'm a healed person. That's gotta be like a good feeling to be able to like put at the end of a Reddit post where it's like, a lesser version of me would have smacked the shit out of your kid and held you responsible by proxy. Like the best outcome from like pretty much any of these situations is that no one gets like permanently hurt, and like obviously this guy got fucking punched in the sternum, no taking that back. They come away like thinking about it a little more and going, man, I should not let anything remotely close to that happen again. I sat in my yard in the dark with my dog until my vet came to my house. My dog couldn't walk after everything that just happened. He weighs nearly as much as I do, so I needed help moving him. My husband was away for work, and they put the dog down after this. Oh man, that's like a terrible parting memory, but I hope he gave you a lot of joy in life. Emancipated nephew moved home. Now his parents want child support. About 2 years ago, my nephew was kicked out by his excessively religious parents. I financially supported him to become emancipated and provided him a safe home. Good on ya, good shit, we love to see it. Over Christmas, his parents reconciled with him and begged him to move home. They just sent me a demand letter for child support since I helped him become emancipated? How does a demand letter like that even work? Like, there's no legal precedent for that as far as I'm aware. Like, what fucking lawyer is signing on for that shit? Like, to send it over and be like, yeah, you know the kid who's now, like, legally responsible for himself, like, at his age? We want child support for that kid, who there's no legal responsibility for. My wife and I can't stop laughing. He's not actually my nephew, he's my cousin's son. He was kicked out for refusing to say he was straight, and because he wouldn't stop associating with the kid at school they believe is gay? Wait, so you're telling me it wasn't even just like straight homophobia? It was like homophobia by proxy. Son, you're hanging around this kid we think's like a little homosexual, a little too close. It makes us second glance you, and you gotta get out now. We saw the way he hit that walk at the high school basketball game that we sat in on. Yeah, no good. Can't be around him. Nada. That is some insane shit. My dad said I owed him reimbursement for moving out because I'm taking my stuff with me. So I finally moved out of my parents' house after college. Nothing dramatic, just got a small apartment with a friend. My dad sees me packing my bedroom furniture and goes, "You're taking that?" I'm like, "Yes, this is my dresser." He goes, "Well, I bought it, so if you're taking it, you owe me $300? It's like at that point, if you're gonna physically stop me from taking out the furniture I've had my entire life, unless I give you like 300 USD, I'm like, fuck it, just keep the damn thing. I'll find like a cheaper one on Craigslist. I thought he was joking. Nope, dead serious. He starts listing everything he ever bought me. You know, the shit that you are supposed to provide your child, like as a parent. My childhood bed, my desk I've had since I was 14, the lamp from Walmart, even the curtain. He literally said those curtains weren't free. You think you just get to walk away with them? My mom stepped in and was like, she is not paying for curtains from 2012. Shout out mom in this case. When you move out of your parents' place, like maybe there's an argument that like you don't take every single piece of furniture as like a hand-me-down. It's just so counter to the experience I've had, and basically everybody I know who's on good terms with their parents has had when they first moved out. My dad goes, "It's the principle." The principle? I ended up buying my own cheap furniture and leaving everything behind just so he couldn't invoice me. The man texted me later, "Don't forget you owe me rent for raising you." Oh my fucking god, no, they categorically do not. If you didn't house them when they were your kid, legal responsibility, you might have gone to jail for not doing it. This just like flies in the face of so much I've experienced, because like everybody in my life, like when they first moved out, it was often like against their parents' wishes. Like they would want their own space, but their parents are like, "Listen, we're willing to have you, we'll feed you, we just want you to save more money," and then do everything they could to like help their kid land on their feet when they left. They'd like try and get them to take as much furniture as they could so that like they didn't have to spend the money on it, especially if it was already in their room. Just being this petty about the fucking curtains? That seems insane to me. Like if you want to keep all your kid shit there so you can turn it into a guest room now that they've moved out, that's like one thing, right? But like that is just an absurd scenario to me. "Your son can't be in there," said random guy. "I know," said the parent probably. I'm at our local YMCA and enjoying some time in the hot tub. There are multiple signs stating no one under 16 years of age is to be in the hot tub. The lap pool is about 5 feet away from where swim lessons for young children are going on. A young boy, maybe 5, comes over and stands by the hot tub. His mother, presumably, comes over and says something to him in what I believe is Chinese. The boy steps down 1 step into the hot tub. Before I can say anything, the swim instructor looks over and sees him. "Ma'am, your son cannot be in that hot tub." The mom says, "I know." She then says something to her son again and steps down to the second step. He begins splashing water onto him, up over his back. That's like a really roundabout way of discouraging him from continuing. "If you take 1 more step forward, you're gonna have a bad time." The instructor even more forcefully says, "Ma'am, your son cannot be in the hot tub." The mom goes, "Okay," splashes her son a few more times. At this point, the instructor gets out of the pool and begins approaching the mom, who proceeds to grab her son by one arm and yank him out of the hot tub. She then walks over to the women's locker room, places her hand squarely on the sign that states, "Parents with children of the opposite gender, please use the family changing rooms," and walks inside with him. They came back out a few minutes later with the mom now in a swimsuit, and after that I lost track of him. I'm really wondering if there was some sort of language barrier issue here. Like all the answers are like 1 or 2 word responses to whatever the pool instructor's asking of her. She was like apparently speaking Chinese to the kid. I really have no way of knowing for sure, but the fact that she got the hell out of Dodge when the swim instructor actually stood up to enforce the rules he kept reminding her of, yeah, I'm leaning more to one way than the other. My mom keeps giving away my stuff to guests without asking me. I went home for the holidays and noticed my favorite sweater was gone. My mom casually says, "Oh, I gave that to your cousin. You never wear it." Same thing happened with books, makeup, even my charger and my old phone. I'm not being petty, it's just not hers to give. And when I say anything, she acts like I'm materialistic. I read that as maternalistic, and I'm like, acting motherly towards your mom? Crazy. No, I just don't like being looted like a free boutique. Am I the wrong one? I'm sorry, bro, the storm's approaching, you're down, your buddy doesn't have a reboot card to pick you up with, he left you for dead. That golden scar is mine. Holy shit. Alright, I think I'm gonna wrap this one up here. That card I mentioned should be on screen now. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'll see y'all next time.